Yo, what is going on, everyone? Welcome to the Fizz Show, numero dos. I'm Trey, as you learned from last time, and I just want to thank you guys for the response that I got last week. It was humbling, and just made my heart very full that you guys liked it so much. Even the people I know in real life saying that they like it, and I actually have a talent, and it wasn't just people on Twitter. It was a genuinely good response, and whether you watch it and you laugh at me or you watch it and you actually like it, just know that I'm having fun with it, and your view still counts to me, and your subscription still counts to me. So, from the bottom of my heart, thank you all you guys. If you're making fun of me over this, continue to make fun of it and run my views up. But if you genuinely like what I'm doing and you like my voice and you like what I talk about and you liked the first episode, and you decided to click on episode 2, thank you. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. It means everything to me. Now, it's the day today that should be a national holiday. It's the day after the Super Bowl. And last night we got a classic. I said I wasn't going to watch it, but we all know I was going to watch it. I could not watch it. I hate both those teams, but and I especially hate Pat Mahomes. Got to give that guy some credit. Started off a snooze fest. Those first 3 quarters were not good football. Not entertaining. Defensive battle. If you're into defensive battles, it's great. But I mean, you look back at that Patriots-Rams Super Bowl, and it wasn't a good one. So, snooze fest. Bad Super Bowl for the first 3 quarters, but then the script writers and the Chiefs and Niners came to play in that fourth quarter. I mean, talk about the game Jawan Jennings had. If the Niners win, that guy's easily hands down your Super Bowl MVP. I mean, we're talking Jawan Jennings getting a Super Bowl MVP. It's a little wild. Jake Moody, known to have his struggles, had a pretty solid game. I mean, he had that one blocked. It's blocked. It was a low kick, but it was still blocked, so it's not on him. It was just it was a good football game, but hate both those teams. I can't say I was happy that the Chiefs won. Although my best friend did get to suffer a little bit, get a taste of what it's like being a Charger fan, so that was a little fun. But Kyle Shanahan, got to go back and look at it. Why are you not deferring? What is the reasoning? I don't get it at all. There's literally no advantage to taking that ball first. None. There's no advantage. What do you get out of taking the ball first? Set the tone? We're in overtime. The tone's been set since the first fucking quarter. There's no reason to be taking the ball in overtime. I mean, you kick the ball off. I mean, you take it. I guess the only thinking is you get to see the ball. No, that's not even true. I'm stumbling over myself. There's no silver lining. You defer, you get at least 2 possessions. Hopefully. You even go down and score that touchdown. The Chiefs are going for 2 to win. These guys haven't played Retro Bowl? These guys haven't played Madden? You go for 2 to win if they go down and score a touchdown. You give them the ball first, they go score a touchdown, kick the field goal. Now you have the chance to score a touchdown, 2-point conversion to win the Super Bowl and be an NFL immortality forever. Forever. That's got to be the thought process. I don't know. I really don't know what he was thinking there. And And Niners fans and the Niners organization has to be thinking that too. And Kyle Shanahan has to feel the pressure. Because since he took over for this Niners team, he's had about 4 teams that could have won a Super Bowl. And he was there in 2. And he had a 10-point lead in 2. And he couldn't get it done. Albeit it was against Pat Mahomes. But you got to start thinking, how much longer is the leash on this guy? Seen people fired for a lot worse. Saw Marty Schottenheimer get fired after a 14-2 season because they expected to win a Super Bowl and they didn't. So you got to start thinking, is Kyle Shanahan's time coming? Because they can't get over this hump? You got to think about it. You can't not. I mean, I think they let him run it back next year. But if it doesn't result in a Super Bowl next year, then it feels like you have to fire him. Because you've reached your ceiling, and the ultimate ceiling that anyone wants to reach in the NFL is a Super Bowl. So why? Why are we wasting time with a coach that won't get us there when there's other people available? They did it to They did it to Jim Harbaugh. He was a really good coach, but he couldn't get over that hump and win a Super Bowl with some really good teams. So they canned his ass. So you got to think, is that coming for Kyle Shanahan? I don't know. I would. I'd let him run it back a year, see what he can do, but it feels like it's ending. It feels like the beginning of the end last night. If he couldn't do it with this team in this opportunity against a bad Chiefs offense, I mean, not bad. You have Pat Mahomes and Travis Kelce on it, but it's not the Chiefs offense that we're used to. Then you got to think, oh, it might be time, Kyle. It might be time. Let's talk about the other side now. Pat Mahomes. I'll never deny someone's greatness. That guy is one of the best quarterbacks we've ever seen take the field. And I think he might just be the best quarterback to ever take the field. I mean, 3 Super Bowls in 6 years, 6 AFC championships. You know, a 500 record in the AFC championship is beyond me. I just hate the guy. I just fucking hate Pat Mahomes. And maybe that's coming from a bad place because I'm a Charger fan. But just the way he operates himself, he's cocky, he's a crybaby. I feel like those old heads describing LeBron. Because they're jealous that their team doesn't have LeBron. That's honestly what I feel like, and maybe I am just a salty Charger fan, but I just hate his personality. Hate the way he does that fucking walk down the field. Hate everything about Pat Mahomes. That's because I watch him beat the Chargers twice a year. And honestly, maybe it's good that the Chargers blew that 27-0 lead, because if they didn't, they probably would have lost to Pat Mahomes in the divisional, and my mental health wouldn't have been able to take that. Seriously, so there's very few men I envy on this earth, but I envy Pat Mahomes and Chiefs fans, because I just want a little taste of what they're doing. Just something similar. I've never experienced anything like what the Chiefs are doing. Doesn't even have to be a dynasty. I just want one. Just want one. But talk about cockiness and egos. Travis Kelce is a fucking jabroni. This guy likes to call everyone else a jabroni. Travis Kelce is a fucking jabroni. I at least had a little bit of respect for Pat when he got out there. He's like, I want to thank God and my family, all doing the right thing. Fucking Travis Kelce gets out there, Viva Las Vegas! Shut the fuck up, dude. Like, please. You almost shoved your geriatric coach to the ground on the sideline, and you're talking about Viva Las Vegas? It was just pissing me off. He was being extremely annoying last night. It was rough. I take away Taylor Swift, take away all that. Him himself is a rough sight to see, and I don't like him at all. At all. Now, staying on the subject of the NFL, your Los Angeles Chargers hired their OC in DC and other position coaches. But we got OC Greg Roman, DC Jesse Minter. Let's start with Greg Roman. Greg Roman, you know what you're getting. You're getting a guy who likes to use your quarterback's legs, a guy who likes to establish the run, do a lot of RPO. I'm not entirely mad at that. Every good quarterback ever, every team who's ever won something has a good running game to back up that, to back up your star quarterback. So the fact that they went out and got probably the best guy at establishing a run game, not mad at it at all. You can't be mad at that. How could you be mad at getting a guy who's going to help make your crown jewel of a quarterback better? Can't be mad at all. Great hire. Well, good, not great. Because, I mean, I do think there's better options. I think the Lions quarterback coach probably would have been better. But you bring in Marcus Brady as your pass game coordinator, and it's a easier hire to stomach because Marcus Brady has done wonders in this league as the Colts assistant, and he's really good. So the passing game is not going to struggle, folks. If you're worried about Justin Herbert taking a step back in this Greg Roman offense, I don't think you should. I mean, if you aren't ready to see Justin Herbert not play hero ball, he's not going to play hero ball. But he's still going to throw for 4,000 plus yards, 30 plus touchdowns. We're still going to get a Justin Herbert type year. We're still going to get those Justin Herbert throws. And bringing back Shane Day to be the quarterback coach, who was the quarterback coach during that 2021 campaign, was a huge hire because that's the best we've ever seen Herbert was that sophomore year. He was absolutely, truly special that year. And on that team, if we just would have had a running game or a solid, like another piece other than Justin Herbert playing hero ball, it doesn't even come down to Week 18 against the Raiders in Las Vegas. You're in the playoffs. On the defensive side, Jesse Minter, okay, whiz kid of a defensive coordinator. This guy, you look at every stat in college football. What that Michigan defense was, they were top 5 in every defensive stat. Every defensive stat. You don't win a college national. You don't win a national championship on accident. You don't hold Washington to under 20 points on accident. Not something that happens on accident. He's a whiz kid of a coach, and I'm extremely excited to see what he could do with, the Derwin James, the Asantes, and maybe one of the edges, but especially a Tuli Pelotu. I'm excited to see what he could do with him. This linebacking core that'll probably look completely different next year, but I like his potential there too. And he hires Navarro Bowman. Speaking of the Niners, Navarro Bowman, linebacker coach for those Chargers. I mean, that'll teach them to be ferocious and intense, to fucking hit someone in the mouth. Because if you ever watch Navarro Bowman play, that guy did not play around. That guy was a fucking menace on that football field. The guy was special out there. But you could talk about this coaching staff. You could talk about what the front office did. You could talk about this. You could talk about that. None of it matters unless you nail this draft and you get a good free agency class. Okay? None of it matters if you can't do that. Like I've said before, it's got to be one of Joe Alt, Brock Bowers, Malik Neighbors. Maybe Romo Dunes, but I'm not completely sold on taking him that high. My friends criticize me for wanting to take Brock Bowers, and I'll rationalize it here. Look at the tight ends that were in the game last night. Look at the tight ends who were in the championship round. All of them are elite tight ends, and I get it. They weren't drafted at 5. None of those guys coming out of college were the prospect that Brock Bowers is. Brock Bowers is a truly special. He's a wide receiver playing tight end, and he's also an extra O lineman playing tight end. He's George Kittle on steroids. Brock Bowers is who everyone wants George Kittle to be. Brock Bowers has to be the pick if he's there. And if you have the opportunity, you get the vibe, maybe you can trade down and still get Brock Bowers. Sign me up. Because god damn it, that'd be special. If you can land a couple extra picks and some other assets to surround your team while still getting Brock Bowers, that would be ridiculous and unfair to this fucking league. Okay? I lost my train of thought. Oh, Brock Bowers. This guy's coming out of a SEC where it's not easy to dominate like he did. It is not what he did in college. Not a fluke. It didn't happen on accident. Promise you that. This kid is a bona fide star in the league, and taking him at 5 would not be a mess up of a pick or a waste of a pick. Draft Brock Bowers at 5. This team's back. Now, yesterday, you guys were all, Super Bowl Sunday, woo! Pitchers and catchers reported yesterday, baby. Baseball is back. We are back. Finally. It was a long, cold winter. But those sunsets are starting to get longer outside. And I could just I could smell the dirt. I could hear the cleats walking on the concrete. It's about that time. Pitchers and catchers reporting yesterday. And some big notes around the league. Snell is not signed yet. Pitchers and catchers have reported. Blake Snell is not on a roster. This guy had nowhere to report to. It's rumored he got 5 years, $150 million from the Yankees and said, no, I either want more years or more money. I don't think he's getting it. At all. I don't think he's getting close to it. I think Blake Snell might return to the Padres. That's just a limb. I know you heard Ruben Niebla and the guys on DSG talk about it. Ruben Niebla said hopefully he doesn't hurt us too much next year. And the Hogwatch talked about it. But I truly think the further we get into this, the more likely that the Padres get Blake Snell back on a prove-it-to-me kind of deal. On a, let's see what you got. I'll give you 1 year, $30 million. Let's see if you can do it again. And if you do, you'll go out there and you'll get all this money from all these other teams. Bellinger's not signed yet either. It's another Boris guy. Scott Boras is ruining the free agency market. I hate to say it. I don't hate to say it, honestly. He is ruining the free agency market. The fact that we're, February 12th, and a lot of guys aren't signed. Now, given I know that as of recent it's taken a lot longer, but I mean, we haven't seen Jordan Montgomery's not signed either. Matt Chapman, sitting. It's like, okay, there's a month until the Padres open this season in Korea. We got to do something. You know what I'm saying? Got to do something. Now, there's a big hole in this Padres rotation that I was failing to properly acknowledge, but now that we're getting closer, it's like, oh, this needs to be talked about. There's not a left-handed pitcher in this rotation. It's all righties. All righties. Can't do that in the major leagues, and that's where Blake Snell was super special for you, and Lugo was special for you because you had a lefty. You had a lefty. In the modern game with all these analytics and these matchups and, who's doing this, what's doing that, you need a left-handed pitcher to be able to go up against those left-handed bats. Truly. And there's Ryu's on the market. There's plenty of pitching out there to be had for cheap. Look at what they got Walker Lugo for last year. There's plenty to be had. Preller just needs to make it happen. There's no left-handed pitchers in the organization that are ready to come to the league right now, and I'm not going to ruin a player's development for what's probably going to be an 85-win divisional round exit season with the ceiling of winning a title, but probably not if we're all being realistic. This is probably not a World Series team. Very well could be. Look at the D-backs last year. The power of friendship got them there, so it's possible. It's possible. But come on. So I don't want to ruin any prospects. Go out and sign a left-handed pitcher for $5-6 million. On my notes here, I said still only two outfielders. Not a true statement anymore. The Padres bring back familiar face Jurickson Profar. Dude had a hell of a Caribe series. Caribe series. And honestly, that might be what got him signed. I think this guy was out there making diving catches. I think he hit about 375. A couple of bombs in the Caribe series. Led Curacao to a finals appearance. Curacao in the finals against they upset Puerto Rico. They beat Puerto Rico. It's ridiculous. And it was kind of led by Jurickson Profar, which is wild. So, you get him back on a 1-year, $1 million contract, no risk. And just a solid fourth outfielder. A solid guy who can rotate, play anywhere in the outfield. In the Caribe series, he's playing center field. So, could be playing center field for your Padres. He was an ultimate vibes guy. As my guys at DSG like to say, ultimate VAR on Jurickson Profar. He was special in that brown and gold and in that 2022 run. He only played 16 games last year, but when he got there, the Padres were winning. Given they were out of the race, but they were winning. Down that last stretch of the season, they had such a deep hole to climb out of. They're not going to climb out of it, but they were winning those last couple weeks. Once Jurickson Profar got there, I know they're probably not related, but 1 year, $1 million, and you get a solid switch hitting bat and a guy who could play in the outfield for you. I'm happy with it. Now the young guns, who you might call up to play, you got Tirso O'Neillis, who has been, honestly, he's in about 250 in I believe he's in double right now. I don't know, I might be pulling shit out of my ass, but he has been a solid outfielder for the Padres and the organization. He has some pop in that bat. That could be a guy who cracks, and that is a prospect that maybe you're not that sad if it doesn't work out for him because you have all these other guys. Maybe you're okay with it if Tirso doesn't work out. So that's a guy who I could see truly making the roster. I could also see Jackson Merrill making this roster because they're going to play him in the outfield. He can play some second base. He could play here. He could play there. He's a utility guy, just what they have in Kim. And with Machado probably not playing third base to start, Jackson Merrill, get ready to move to San Diego because you are probably a pod to start this year. Hopefully a pod to start this year because that's the new that's been our new Tatis ever since Abrams left. That's our homegrown guy. That's the kid we love. So I'd love to see him make a debut. Now look at Mike Schilt. You watched Joe Musgrove, introductory press conference last week, and you say, was Bob Melvin a bad manager? Because he was talking about how last year they didn't have an identity, and they just went in there with the expectation of we're going to be good. That's not how you approach a baseball season. And so Joe Musgrove's talking about how Mike is going to come in there and help establish this culture. And we're not going to be sat there. It's going to be identified right away. And that's what I love about Mike Shaw. I mean, he's a culture creator. This guy, I mean, look at what he did in St. Louis. He was a dog. Those teams were good when Mike Schilt was at the helm. So nothing. So he is going to come out there and do good stuff for this Padres team. I mean, he's going to create. Egos are going to be gone. He's not going to be afraid to big dog you. He's not going to be like, he doesn't care that you're making $300 million. If you're not playing good, you're hitting the bench, kid. I mean, and I love that. There's nothing better than a guy who is no nonsense, just going to fucking do something. And that's why it's a good hire. I mean, he creates a culture. You're buying more than a coach when you get him. You're buying a culture that hopefully will be passed down to the next assistant that gets promoted when you leave. Hopefully it doesn't get to the point where you get fired. There's a succession plan. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to get fired. You want to retire. Now, one of the guys that Mike Schilt brought in for this season from Japan, Yuki Matsui. Hell of an introductory press conference. This guy's talking in Spanish and English. Really just appealing to the fans. But that guy is small. That is a little petite boy. That guy is tiny. I've never seen I mean, he's Altuve levels of small on the mound. All right, he doesn't throw hard. He's a junk ball pitcher, so hopefully it works out. But what the Padres need to get out of this free spring training is you need to establish who we are, what we are, why we do this as soon as possible. We can't sit around until July and be like, oh shit, we're 7 games out, we need to start winning. It needs to be established from the second everyone reports to spring training. This is what we're going to be. This is how we're going to do it. This is why we're going to do it. If you don't like it, kick rocks, because we need people bought in. We can't have last year with a bunch of prima donnas. We can't. Okay? Can't be something that happens. We need selfless guys who are going to lay their lives on the line for the brown and gold. Truly. That's what we need on this team. We need to get sharp quickly in spring training. We can't take spring training lightly. It needs to be taken for real. Use it as a sign, as a way to get that rust off. Don't wait till the beginning of the year to get to shake that rust off. We don't have time to waste anymore, guys. Because we don't believe that you can turn it around. You wait for your rust to fall off. We don't believe you can turn it around. The rust never fell off last year. Never. The rust never fell off last year. Go out there, create a culture, establish a culture, and be a culture is what you need to get out of this spring in Peoria. Now that's probably going to wrap it up for episode 2 of the Fizz Show. From the bottom of my heart, truly, I want to thank every single one of you who tuned in. I want to thank the Divine Sports Gospel for retweeting, helping me get some traction on Padres Twitter. I want to thank everyone on Padres Twitter who, decided to drop a follow. Everyone who decided to, just decided to give it a listen. I can't thank you all enough. From the bottom of my heart, I can't thank you all enough. I'm having so much fun with this. I'm having, just the conversations I've gotten to have over this. It truly warms my heart. I want to thank everyone I know in real life, too, for tuning in and being like, oh, what's Trey doing now? And like I said in the beginning, whether you're watching these to make fun of me and be like, what is Trey doing, or you're watching because you actually like what I'm saying, it doesn't matter to me because I'm having a good time with it, and I'm having fun. And nobody can take that from me. So Make sure you like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter at the Fizz Show. You guys have a good day.